Well, good morning, everyone, and thank you for attending our session to learn about our new Center for Advanced Research Training and Innovation, also known as CARTI. So this session is being recorded, and later today, I will email everyone a link to the recording. If you have any questions throughout the session, please enter them into the chat box, and we will answer them at the end of the presentation. It's now my pleasure to introduce our speakers for today. First, we had Dr. E. Albert Reese, who is the Executive Vice President for Medical Affairs for the University of Maryland, Baltimore. He's also the John Z. and Akiko K. Bowers Distinguished Professor and Dean of the School of Medicine and Director for the new Center for Advanced Research Training and Innovation. We also have Dr. Mary Schreiber, who is an Executive Director for Faculty Development of CARTI, and she's also an Assistant Professor in the Department of Biochemistry and Molecular Biology at the University of Maryland School of Medicine. Together, they will provide an overview of the new center and describe how CARTI will support research and professional development on campus. I will now turn the session over to Dr. Reese.
Thank you, Stacy, and again, welcome to everyone. It's nice to see the participant list. We so far have 38 people who have signed up. It's good to have everyone here and just tell you what we have planned. So next slide, Stacy, please. So we're going to start with the beginning, start with history. Well, it turns out that shortly after I arrived here, I came in 2006, a year later, it became clear that we had wonderful researchers, wonderful folks who were interested in research, but needed to have some added grant writing skills developed. So we recruited a group from Stacy, actually, and Wendy Sanders, who everyone remembers very well. Wendy retired a couple years ago. They came from Hopkins, and we started what we now know as Research Career Development Program. It's an intensive grant writing and support program. And at the time, Dr. Gerald was the Vice Dean of the School of Medicine. And together, he and I really locked arms and decided that this was an important initiative, and it has been wildly successful. So my goal is to really expand on it. So the CARTI is really an expansion of the research career development beyond intensive writing. Next slide, please. Let me get into more details as to what it's about. So let me start by sharing with you the success that we experienced with RCD. Not surprising, but nevertheless extraordinarily gratifying to see the rewards on the investment. And look, for example, a simple way of looking at this busy table is look at the top box on the right. And you'll see in 2007, we started with about 576 participants. And last year, we ended up with about almost 3,300 participants. So you see, it's been very, very well subscribed over the years. And the numbers are not, the numbers that you see in 2021 are numbers that we have become accustomed to. Look at the next box below that. You'll see writing, and just giving you just an example. Over the 5-year period from 2015 to 2020, just the program on writing your first R01. You'll see the number of participants, the number of grants submitted, and look at the number of awards. Now, how many of us are getting a 50% success rate in our R01s or any grant? Well, it's not common, but using this RCD program, we've been able to achieve very strong success, a $35 million aggregate award. We look at the second category, writing a career development, a K award. 60 persons participated, 42 grants were submitted, and 23 grants were funded for $18 million. So just that small example of the impact of RCD showed that with 126 participants, we ended up with $53 million of grant awards with about, roughly speaking, a 50% success rate. So this is the kind of platform that exists at the present time, one that is robust. But CARTI is going to go beyond this. CARTI is just basically using the history, the experience, the accomplishments, and really transforming it into additional elements. Next slide, please. So with that, we can look and see the impact of CARTI and other efforts overall, because not just RCD alone, but really a number of efforts. You'll see, for example, the number of faculty members in 2007 was 1181, and we had a 21% increase by 2020. And just kind of cast your eyes down at the right column, you'll see a 28% increase in faculty with federal grants over that period of time, a 63% increase in the number of total awards per full-time faculty. That's extraordinary. Just jump down to grants and contracts. Look at grants and contracts per full-time faculty, 100% increase. And if we look at the the total grants and contracts was 100%. The next was grants and contracts for full-time faculty was 65%, and total federal 65%, and so on and so forth. You get the idea. It's been a very positive improvement in virtually all categories. Now, if you look to the bottom 5 or so, are areas that I think are opportunities. Look at the last line, the number of RON funded investigators. That's flat. We can do better than that. And the number of NIH funded investigators, it declined. We can do better than that. Even the number of RONs can actually increase, and the number of the NIH dollars per full-time faculty. So we can increase that as well. And you look at the total NIH dollars, we could still improve in those areas. So overall, I'd say this has been extraordinary performance with areas for growth and areas of opportunity that we can work on over the next several years. But this is just to set the scene. Next slide, please. So CARTI, as I said, is based on that platform. The three main vision goals that we have are listed here on the slide. One, for CARTI to serve as a hub for both formal and informal research, training, and professional development. Secondly, it's really intended to nurture and grow an expanded cadre of rising scientists, biomedical or clinical scientists, expand the portfolio. Remember I said what percentage of our faculty are funded scientists? We can do better. And this CARTI is supposed to really expand the cadre. Next, the third purpose is really we also want to expand our portfolio among underrepresented minority and women faculty. So we want to really, as they say, we want to leave no one behind. We want to make sure that we expand and we grow the entire biomedical workforce. So over the next 3 to 5 years, we'll see a robust increase in women and minority faculty and an overall expansion of the percent of faculty who are funded. Next slide, please. So the goals are actually quite easy to remember. It's I-STEM. And we want to inspire, we want to support, we want to transition, and we want to enrich. And last but not least, we want to mentor. Mentor, mentor, mentor. All of us, no matter how smart we think we are here because of one or more mentors that actually helped us along the way. So we want to inspire and grow the next generation of scientists who are conducting high impact research. We want to support the career development of women and minority faculty. We want to transition promising senior fellows, postdocs, to faculty status. We have a lot of great internal fellows and postdocs who leave us and go elsewhere. And that's fine to an extent, but we want to keep some. So we want to basically focus on transitioning some of our terrific fellows and postdocs so they can become junior faculty. And we want to take their existing faculty and enrich and expand their portfolios. Mid-career and senior faculty, we want to make sure they become even more robust in their research portfolios. And of course, as I said, we want to mentor, mentor, and mentor. Next slide, please. So CARTI is not starting from scratch based on the RCD experience I just shared with you. And there are also other support structures across departments, centers, and institutes. There are formal training programs that we have in departments like epidemiology and public health. There are departments that have very strong training programs or nurturing programs. There's some individual courses around. There are affiliate programs. There are existing offices. But as you can see, there are multiple entry points. So they're scattered. So there's some winners and there's some not so many winners too, where people will have a cadre of things happening, but they're not equally available to everyone. So our concept is on the next slide. This is our vision on the next slide. The vision is that CARTI would become a central entry point. And a very important element of CARTI are the counselors. The CARTI counselors will just think of it as a traffic cop, sits there and takes in information and basically provide advice by saying, well, based on what you shared with me, your goals, you wish to accomplish X or Y, and you want to do this, I think your better suit is be better for you if you entered this particular formal training program. I make it up. A master's in molecular medicine or a master's in XYZ or a certificate course. We may advise that just based, that's how the counselors will become important. Or that the counselor may say, you know, there's the ICTA program that exists and they have vouchers. You can actually enter that program. Or we may say, I think CARTI is the right place for you. So it is a central entry point where we'll provide advice and guidance. Clearly, the individual faculty member has the final word, but we'll just provide information. So if in fact it was a CARTI program that they chose, next slide, please. We'll describe what CARTI is. So we would say CARTI will serve as a primary entry point, as you've just experienced. It really is an expansion of a successful research career development program, and it'll provide major research, education, and training. It's a core for faculty and senior fellows. It's a free service. You don't have to pay anything. It's paid for you already. Now, let's not be, there's an adage that I hope you don't fall into, an adage by saying, you get what you pay for. This is unlike that. Even though it's free, it's not free. The School of Medicine has committed a significant resource to this program. So it's paid on your behalf. So it's not really free, but it's free for you, but not a free program at all. Here, what it's not. It's not a program for high school students or college students or graduate students. It's not. It's really focused on senior fellows, faculty at any level. We hope that will bring up some junior faculty, or junior or mid-level faculty. And we have Dr. Shriver going to tell you about some senior faculty programs that we have planned. So this is kind of what it is. Next slide, please. And somebody just put in the chat here, how about postdocs? Absolutely. If you have postdocs who need some help, send them over. So what are the advantages of CARTI? It's a hub for training, scientific communication, and leadership skills. And I want to emphasize that not only research training, but scientific communication, both to the lay public as well as to the scientific audience, and also leadership skills. I explained to you how the councils are really important for guidance and achieving your goals. And I want to emphasize that CARTI is not an attempt to replace successful programs that exist right now. It is really to supplement existing programs and not to replace them. Next slide, please. So CARTI in a snapshot. The CARTI tracks in a snapshot. There are three elements, let's call it. One is the CARTI training tracks, which we'll explain in a moment. The second is the individual research career development. The third is the intensive writing and communication that you've heard about. That's going to continue. And a new brand offering is fellows to faculty. And I said, we want to grow our own. And if we have some wonderful, promising fellows, postdocs, for example, we want to capture them. We want to make sure that we kind of steer them and find a way that they can become junior faculty right here. So I'm going to start with the first one, and then I'm going to transition to Dr. Schreiber, who will then take over thereafter. Next slide, please. So the CARTI training tracks, who are they for? They're for senior fellows and faculty, primarily junior, but all faculty are included. And these are going to be non-credit courses, workshops, seminars. It'll be done in a way that it'll be personalized to the extent possible, limited class sizes, no prerequisites, and we'll talk more about how we'll try to personalize things. And how? It'll be designed and administered by CARTI staff and the School of Medicine faculty. And the purpose, I think you got the purpose earlier, is to increase the pool of scientists, clinician scientists and basic scientists, is to build stronger research partnerships. We have wonderful core facilities here. We have wonderful institutes. We can partner, or just terrific scientists that we want to encourage partnerships, strengthen the portfolio of evidence-based clinical care, and increase the amount of research and research funding that is conducted and funding that's competitively secured. Next slide, please. So to put it all together, the CARTI tracks, think of 3 columns and 4 horizontal bars. So the leftmost column, it says, if you're interested in basic science, basic translational science, that's the column. And I'm going to come back and tell you what the offerings are in a moment. The middle column is the clinical translation research. And the far right column is the community health, public health research column. Those are tracks, if you will, that individuals can choose based on their interest. So now let's go at the horizontal bars. Everyone in those tracks will be exposed to some instructional, didactic instruction. Now, I said earlier we want to personalize it because if someone is well-trained, they have appropriate degrees, they may not need that much instructions or any at all. So we'll personalize the number of weeks. We have roughly 6 to 8 weeks of didactic instructions, but that may vary depending upon the background of the individual. The next horizontal bar is intensive writing. There's some who may have great background information, but is really weak in the writing skill. Then obviously we need to expand. We said 4 to 6 weeks. It may be more in that case, personalized. And so everybody would be exposed to writing, some more so and some than others. The third horizontal bar is experiential learning. So for example, if you're in the basic track, you'd be assigned to a lab. And I'll be identifying several labs, including my own, and folks will have a rotation. And the rotation, again, will be personalized. It could be 8 to 10 weeks or more or less, where you get exposed to some basic techniques. We're not training you to be able to do everything, but you need to at least get the basic skills so you can function. Now, with the clinical or public health track, clearly you're not being exposed to wet lab, but there'll be dry labs. And dry labs is where you're going to be taught a number of things, such as how to conduct a randomized clinical trial, how to randomize patients, how to set up cohorts, how to set up crossover studies, how to do some statistics, what statistics to choose and what not to choose, how to interpret them. So that'll be an experiential learning, but obviously not wet lab, but dry lab. And the last horizontal column, everybody has to do a capstone, a project. The project will vary. Obviously, a basic project will be different from a public health project, but a project will be assigned, or will be not assigned, but will be determined between the participant, the faculty or the fellow, and the CARTI staff. Now, everyone will will have a mentor or mentors. And Dr. Shriver may comment on this. We'll be doing some mentor matching program, because mentors are going to be important not only during the program itself, but particularly when you exit the CARTI program, because you need to have a mentor or mentors who will continue to support you as you go further in your work. So that is how the CARTI tracks would be managed. So at this point, I'm going to transition to Dr. Shriver, who will discuss the other elements of the CARTI program. Dr. Shriver.
Thank you, Dr. Reese. Let me bring my slides back to life. All right, so the second approach within CARTI is going to be around individual research career development. And this is going to build largely off of a lot of the established programs and offerings that have existed within the research career development program, which have been meant to support early stage investigators, but we're going to expand our offerings to continue supporting early stage investigators, but also support mid and senior stage faculty as well in their research and professional development. With this approach, we're going to continue to use seminars, workshops, one-on-one consultations, support experiential learning and visiting professorships at other institutions, as well as leadership development. This will be accomplished through training that is designed, administered, and taught by CARTI staff, as well as faculty within CARTI and the School of Medicine, by partnering with our sister institutions and supporting applications to national or international fellowships, programs, opportunities, and trainings. With this approach, we will support the development of research skills and professional development of faculty at any stage within the School of Medicine, help foster research collaborations, especially for investigators who are at a more advanced stage in their career, and create a robust pool of mentors and leaders within academic medicine. We really see this as an opportunity to continue working with all of the incredible early stage faculty who will go on to be leaders, who will go from being a mentee to a mentor, and hopefully assume leadership positions within the School of Medicine. So continuing to work with faculty over the span of their career. And then help build new research skill sets and invigorate the funding portfolios of senior faculty, help them in identifying new directions and new exciting projects in their career as they transition to a different stage. So an example of some activities that are going to be included in the individual research career development approach. We will continue to offer all of the existing courses, workshops, seminars that have always been held. So nothing is going away. We'll continue to have all of our ongoing programming. We will also support individual development plans. We acknowledge that for early stage faculty, it's important to understand and identify what your goals are and what you need to accomplish those goals. So we will be supporting either identifying resources if you've already developed an individual development plan, or support faculty in developing one if they have not already. And again, this will complement CARTI counselors who can provide that support in that process. We'll expand our centralized mentoring program, which supports early stage faculty in regularly meeting with a mentorship team. We will, as Dr. Reese mentioned, support mentor matching. So we're going to be developing a system in which mentors who are looking for mentees can connect with us and provide their expertise. And then as early stage faculty or senior fellows enter the School of Medicine, and as they're looking for mentorship, we'll be able to access our kind of mentor matching bank so that we can make those connections early on so that faculty can be supported in their research and professional development. We will have a similar process for collaborative matching to help nurture new growing collaborations. We acknowledge that team science is extremely important, and interdisciplinary teams are important, but can sometimes be challenging to form. So again, we're going to help serve as a hub to make connections and work with existing resources and programs that also are on campus that have resources around identifying collaborators. We'll continue to support funding consultations. We'll resurrect our scientific leadership program to develop mid-stage investigators to become leaders within the School of Medicine, provide media training, support the identification and application for sabbaticals and visiting professorship opportunities for more senior faculty, as well as succession planning as faculty transition from their leadership positions to the next period of their life. And then last but not least, we hope to support, again, identifying and applying for leadership opportunities through a variety of scientific and medical organizations so that investigators can develop their leadership skills and networks as they advance in their career. So the third approach within CARTI is going to be intensive writing and communication instruction. This will support faculty at any stage in their career. We will continue to build on our existing seminars and programs, but now add short courses, workshops, and small group interactive instruction. And we're going to break up our writing and communication instruction by audience. So typically we have supported professional or scientific communication, but we're now going to expand and also include communicating with public audiences or audiences of a different background. So this will include courses that are designed, administered, and taught by CARTI staff, as well as faculty within the School of Medicine. With this approach, we will increase the number of manuscripts that are accepted, abstracts that are accepted and presented at professional meetings, as well as grants submitted. Most importantly, we want to help faculty with developing a writing and a communication practice that makes them feel confident and become efficient in communicating their work. It's a huge part of advancing in your career, disseminating your work, making connections, and is very important for promotion. So we want to help make that process easier and help faculty with developing a system that works for them to make this easier, which will help increase the visibility of their work, not only within the School of Medicine, but also externally, as well as be an important beacon of providing information to the general public and combating misinformation. Because we acknowledge that writing and communication is such a vital part of a research career, this particular approach will be incorporated into the other approaches within CARTI. So you saw already how the CARTI training tracks will have a writing and communication instruction within that particular training. We will likely, when we're individually working with faculty, recommend appropriate writing and communication instruction that aligns with their current needs. And this will incorporate into the fourth approach, which we're about to talk about as well. But what we want to make clear is that, like so many of our other offerings, this is also going to be available a la carte. So if a faculty member has heard from a peer that there's a great class that could be a good fit for them, or someone in their department recommends that they participate in a particular offering, that's something that they can take part in outside of the other approaches. So the fourth and final approach within CARTI is going to be something that is completely new, which is the Fellows to Faculty program. This is going to specifically target senior scientific or clinical fellows, including MD, PhD graduates. This approach will have an emphasis on diversity and inclusion, and special consideration will be given to prior participants in any of the pipeline programs that exist within the University System of Maryland. With this approach, we hope to have individualized support and programming that is developed for a specific senior fellow to help them transition to a junior faculty position within the School of Medicine. We hope to accomplish this by partnering with the University System of Maryland institutions, as well as the University of Maryland Medical Center. With this approach, we want to shore up the leaky pipeline of medical students, fellows who we lose, who go on to either alternative careers or go on to academic careers outside our institution. And to also increase a diverse, equitable, and inclusive research workforce, again, where we are retaining and enriching underrepresented minority and women faculty who are conducting research. So an example of some potential activities for this approach, again, this is going to be very individualized. So this is just an example of some of the ways that we could support not only mentees, but also mentors who are going to be supporting these fellows as they transition to independence. So again, we're going to really support the development of individual development plans so that fellows can identify what their specific long and short-term goals are. They can take advantage of mentor matching to make sure that they have a complete mentoring team or committee that is supporting them. use the centralized mentoring program to, again, support those biannual meetings with their mentors to stay on track and create a plan for how they're going to achieve their goals. And then there will be the individual component of how are they going to develop professionally? Are they going to take part in the Managing Your Research Program seminar series? Are they going to take part in leadership training or any other training that seems appropriate based on their skills? And then, of course, the intensive writing and communication instruction will be specific to their needs, whether it's joining a scholarly writing accountability group or participating in the scientific writing seminar series. We want to acknowledge that mentors will also be supported in helping nurture these fellows and advance to a faculty position. So mentors will be provided culturally aware mentor training to set expectations and to have clear lines of communication with their mentees. And they will also have support in developing research plans and progress reports with their mentees, again, to help increase the success and likelihood of these fellows transitioning to an independent position. For this approach, we want to really work with our existing pipelines. We have a number of fantastic programs within our own institution, as well as the University System of Maryland, that support underrepresented minorities within the academic sciences at earlier stages. And we want to really find ways to connect with these pipeline programs. So as these trainees develop through their career, we can, again, kind of help bring them back home to Maryland instead of potentially losing them to other institutions. But we acknowledge that there are also other opportunities, whether it's identifying promising graduate students or medical students or fellows within the University System of Maryland. But we really want to have these clear lines of connection and communication so that we can identify who these promising trainees are to, again, kind of nurture them and help them find a home and ultimately become a junior faculty member within the School of Medicine. So with that, I am going to pass the session back to Dr. Reese to conclude, and then we will open it up for questions.
Thank you, Mary. So what we hope that will occur, again, based on our experience with the research career development, is one, that will provide, as we propose, faculty the central hub, central location for existing resources and for training and research and training needs. Secondly, we hope to support mentored research training, and also, that I mentioned multiple times, a transition for promising fellows, senior fellows, and postdocs to independent faculty members. Third is to reinvigorate research skills and the portfolios of mid-career and senior faculty so that we have a much stronger and more robust research portfolio at all levels. Fourth, we want to ultimately increase the pool of scientists that we have in the School of Medicine, both the biomedical and the clinical. And as I said, to transition the senior faculty or postdocs. We'll be providing annual reports to the School of Medicine Dean and the UMB President, and we'll do formal evaluation on a periodic basis. Next slide, please. So in terms of the timetable, we're launching it right now. You're sitting in a launch, believe it or not. You're in the informational session, but really we're open to early stage faculty. The CARTI counseling services will begin. The council will provide guidance in defining short and long-term career goals and how they can be achieved as to be in concert with the expectation that you may have for yourselves. The second area is communicating with the public seminar series. That will be a second rollout strategy, and that is to open to faculty at any stage. Training on, we talked about on the communication of your research to a wide range of audiences. And the third part of our rollout is we want to roll out first among the 3 tracks. We're going to start with the clinical translational training track as a pilot, and it'll be open to senior fellows and early and junior faculty. And so this, as roughly speaking, we think it'll be a 6-month training opportunity to provide foundational skills to conduct the prescribed research. So we're going to be rolling out these initiatives in a progressive manner. But as of this spring, as you can see, which we are in right now, we're rolling out these 3 elements first, and we're starting with the clinical track, but we'll be transitioning to the other tracks very soon, and all the other elements that Dr. Schreiber just stated. I should mention one thing that I believe we implied it, but I want to make sure it's clear. Even though we have outlined a very structured approach, we're about results. So if someone, for example, coming to the CARTI counselor only needs the intensive writing, I make it up, because of their vast experience and vast training, that's fine. That's a la carte. We'll do that too. Or if someone has great writing skills, but just needs some more experiential training, we'll do that too. So yes, we have the formalized track, but we want to make it so personalized that we can cater to individual needs. Because again, my goal, Dr. Schreiber's goal, our collective goal is in the area of results. And it's not just in the area of process. Process is good, results are better. So next slide, I think, so here's our team. So you'll see the org chart. We've described the CARTI tracks. We've described the communication programs. So that's available. That's on the web, and you'll see the individuals shown below, who will be again our own faculty members on a part-time basis will be participating and leading out in the CARTI program. Again, you can go on the web and you can study this some more, but you'll see the faces and you'll seeing who will be participating in the program thus far. I should mention just parenthetically that we're starting with this number. My sense that if things increase, we may have to increase the number, but this is where we're starting, and we'll have to again, we too will have to be flexible. Next slide, please. We've established an advisory committee because we too want to learn. We're not just educators, but we're also learners. And so the advisory committee, you'll see Dr. Caper is the chair of the committee, but other members who will be advising us, Drs. Fraser, Kittner, Pertzano, Carey, Mong, Reeves, Rothman, and Ropeman. These are those who are committed to research education and have agreed to serve in the advisory capacity. Next slide, please. Dr. Schreiber, you want to just bring it home, as they say?
Absolutely. So today we covered a lot of information. I see there's a lot of questions in the chat, which we're about to get to, but most importantly, where do you find us and how do you learn more information, especially given that our rollout is kind of happening in a very gradual and structured manner. So we have a wonderful website where you can find all of the different approaches. You'll be able to find our newsletters, our events, everything will be there in that one concise place. We also have a list of research resources. So if there's something that you're looking for, that can be a great first stop as well. We have a monthly newsletter where we release our events. This is where we're going to be announcing when each of the different CARTI offerings is available. So if you are not already signed up, please fill out that form and sign up for our newsletter. You can also follow us on Twitter or contact Stacy or myself directly if you have any questions or are looking for resources. And with that, I'm going to stop sharing and we can jump into the questions. Great.
We're open for questions. Maybe Dr. Schreiber, you want to maybe
Absolutely.
Any of the chat questions in the chat? I couldn't keep up with the questions that were coming in.
No, absolutely. There were a lot. So I'm going to start from the top and then we'll go down. And then if we have time, we'll try to open up for any questions as well, just if you want to unmute yourself. So the first question was, how does this overlap with WIMS? So again, is it okay if I take this one, Dr. Reese?
Please, go right ahead.
So I want to reiterate what Dr. Reese said, where we are not replacing any existing programs. So really what we want to do is, for instance, if a female faculty or possibly even a non-female faculty comes in and they are looking for specific resources, maybe it's around promotion, maybe it's around creating a vision for their career. Again, we do our best to keep up to date with all of the resources that are available, and we would point them in the direction of those resources. And we have direct contacts. So it's not unusual for me to reach out to someone in the leadership of WINS and say, I have a faculty member who's looking for this resource. Can I put you in contact with them? So again, we really want to complement and kind of be a direct line of point of contact to help faculty get the resources that they need through other programs that exist on campus. Please, at any point, if I did not fully answer your question, please let us know. All right, the next question is, does CARTI have a plan to engage with advocacy groups, WINS, in some of these initiatives? These groups are also interested in faculty development, leadership, and have ongoing activities that could be synergistic with CARTI's goals. Dr. Reese, do you want to take that one, or would you like me to take that?
I'll take a piece of it, and you know, first of all, remember that CARTI has a major emphasis on research training. Remember that. There are other elements to communication and professional development, but our primary emphasis is research training. We have a particular goal, a measurable goal. We want to measure the number of researchers. We want to measure grant funding. We want to basically help our faculty become independent and successful researchers. That is our primary goal. Our secondary goal would be other things. We want to make sure that communication is the communication skill is developed. I want to make sure professional development is enhanced. But we also, for those other goals, we're happy to collaborate, and we will, with, for example, the members, the associate deans in the School of Medicine for professional development, as well as WIMS and others. So for those areas, I think that collaboration is critical. We are committed to it, and we expect that will occur. Dr. Schreiber, you can add.
So the other point that I want to make, and this is something that we've always been open to in the past and will continue to try to help other groups as well. We're always happy to collaborate. In the past, you know, we've worked closely. There's an Office of Postdoctoral Scholars, and we've worked closely with them to collaborate and sponsor events in the past when it made sense to build on our collective expertise. And so that's also something that we're more than happy to do if multiple minds or two groups can really combine efforts to lead an initiative or an event that makes sense and would be enriched by both expertise. We're always happy to do that. So we're, again, open now to meeting with groups and learning how to best collaborate and navigate how we can support faculty when we have similar goals. So happy to connect Shannon as well offline to discuss more. All right, there's also a comment about connecting with some of the postdoc positions at the Baltimore VA Medical Center. In the past, we have, I know in our grant writing support, we have worked with postdocs who are part of the Baltimore, the VA and the MyRec program. So again, happy to continue supporting senior postdocs in any way possible. I know there were a couple questions about CARTI counselors. So the initial CARTI counseling is going to be open to early stage faculty. We are in the process of finalizing a form that's going to be available on our website. Again, if you're on our listserv, we're going to be announcing when it's live, but you'll go online, you'll fill out a form. It's going to be a two-step process for early stage faculty. Stacy and I are going to serve as the primary initial CARTI counselors as we are launching this process. And as we expand, we will be adding additional CARTI counselors. One of the points that I want to make for the CARTI counseling is that we do hope to, again, collaborate with departments and find points of contact, because we don't expect one person to have all the information. So again, it's really identifying initial resources and then making those connections either within departments or potential collaborators as well. Anything you wanted to add about CARTI counselors, Dr. Reese?
I think you did it.
Okay. So there was another question about postdocs from research labs in the School of Dentistry, School of Pharmacy, School of Nursing eligible to participate. Dean Reese, do you mind if I take this one, or did you want to start?
No, go ahead. Go ahead.
So as we always have in the past, our offerings are open to, I want to make one clarification. We traditionally have worked with senior postdocs who are transitioning to a faculty position. There are specific needs for early stage postdocs, and typically the Office of Postdoctoral Scholars again, we tend to collaborate them and find when it makes sense for a postdoc to work with their office versus ours. But there will be for senior stage investigators who are moving towards independence, regardless of what school you're in, absolutely you will be able to participate in our offerings.
Exactly.
Okay. I'm trying to keep up with the with the questions here. All right. So the next question was, you stated an approximate 6-month training period with formalized tracks that last anywhere from 2 to 10 weeks. I know this program is meant to assist with traditional training, but how much time do you foresee this program adding to an individual daily routine?
If I could take that one.
Absolutely.
First of all, as I said, this is the program will even though it has these organized time frames, it'll be personalized, so it'll be quite variable. We did a survey of all the department chairs, and I think Senate directors, but of leadership. And one of the questions that we asked was, how much time would you be willing to give your faculty whom you recommend to CARTI? And the average time was 20%. So essentially, excuse me, the chairs committed in writing that they were willing to allocate a day a week, let's say, or across the week, it could be equivalent of a day work. So we want to we don't want to be overburdensome. So we believe that we discussed it and thought that kind of for a time commitment we could work with. So that's what we are anticipating that the program would be expecting of participants, approximately 20% of their time. You want to add anything?
No, I think that, again, I want to reiterate that this will likely be an individualized approach based on a faculty member, a fellow or a faculty member's existing research projects. We do acknowledge that for some faculty, especially basic science versus clinical, there is a difference in the amount of time that can be dedicated to research. So there will be an individual component for it as well. Hold on, I've lost myself in the question, so give me 1 second. All right, so we just did the time question. Okay, so this program should increase our success of obtaining NIHK grants. What is our current grant success rate, and what would be a reasonable target?
Why don't you take that one?
Sure. So currently our success rate for K grants is, as Dr. Reese mentioned, is 50%. That's again an average over the last 5 years. What do I think for reasonable target? I mean, Dr. Reese, I don't know if you'd agree with me. I would like to see us getting closer to a 75% success rate for faculty who are applying for K awards.
It's reasonable. I mean, what I would say is, if we were able to keep the 50%, but expand the base, that would be great. So it's not as if 50% is unsatisfactory. We'd love to see it a little bit higher, but I'm more interested in seeing a larger base, because you'd end up with a larger numerator to the end. At the end, we want to grow. We're interested in growing that cadre, and with a success rate of 50% right now, it's great if we applied it to more people.
Thank you. All right, the track record of growth has been very impressive. Has that been equal across clinical and basic sciences? Strategically, where do you see the most potential for future growth? Patient outcomes research or basic science?
That's an excellent question. You know, I'm going to take a crack at this one.
Sounds good.
I would not, the growth has not been terribly uneven. You know, I couldn't say that the growth has been, because what has happened is there are more basic scientists in clinical departments than there are basic scientists in basic science departments. It's just, there are 18 clinical departments and there are 7 or 8 basic science departments. So it's not really unreasonable. There's also another element that we don't always think about, and that's the centers and the institutes and the programs. That they are almost exclusively research entities. And so I would say the growth was heavily in the centers and institutes and programs. So that's, if you're looking at variations, but across departments, I'd say we did see good strength, good performance in both. The question is, where's the opportunity? I think the opportunity is going to be the clinical department. And I say that only because we had a goal. We've had a goal over the years. And our goal was clinical departments should have at least 25% of their faculty funded. And in the basic science departments, about 75% should be funded. That goal has not been reached by many. And it is not reached by most of the clinical departments, but reached by some of the basic departments. So I believe that if you ask me where I think the opportunity lies, it lies across the board, but I think it lies more so in clinical departments. And why that's a wonderful opportunity is because there are many clinical departments. So if all clinical departments just achieve the 25%, that in of itself would be a real big win.
Thank you, Dr. Reese. So the next question is, mentoring at each career stage is so important, and many mid-career and senior faculty want to build the next generation of scientists. However, development of a good mentoring relationship requires a large time investment. Are there any resources to support faculty mentors who are providing support to CARTI fellows? Is it okay if I take that one, Dr. Reese?
Please, go right ahead.
So absolutely, whether it is through the CARTI training tracks with trainees who are working with mentors, or fellows who are in the Fellows to Faculty program, we've had a centralized mentoring program, which has helped manage biannual meetings with faculty, which has been, we pilot it in K awardees. So for faculty who have K awards, they have the opportunity to work with our office to keep track of those biannual meetings and research goals. And so that's something that we want to continue supporting and expand, even for faculty who don't have K awards, because it can be challenging to manage multiple mentor schedules and to maintain those regular meetings. So having the resources to help facilitate that has proven very helpful. So we hope to continue doing that, but also supporting mentors in either finding resources or, again, developing research or progress plans with our office, whether that's having templates or, again, trying to identify tools that you may not currently have that could be helpful to enrich that relationship. So that is absolutely something we want to do, is to support mentors in making that process as successful as possible. Dr. Reese, did you want to add anything?
No, that was good.
All right, I realize we're almost at the top of the hour. We have 2 more questions. We'll try to get through these 2. Sure. So most fellows are busy working in labs. I see some training tracks in the slides take a total of about 25 weeks to complete. For this long time commitment and training, it is most important that we shall make the fellows lab mentors be aware of this program and let them support the fellows in their career path. Have all the mentors been notified of this program? So we are currently developing the clinical training track, which will be the first pilot. When the program is announced, we're going to have an information session as well on this new program. There will be a requirement that the department and the mentor is made aware that this trainee is going to be participating. So we absolutely plan to be transparent for everyone who's involved, whether it's the trainee, the mentor, and the department. And the other thing that I want to state is that we will have, we acknowledge the big time commitment on training. So we're also doing our best to be mindful of finding ways, whether it's a flipped classroom or having, making the most of a trainee's time so that they can still get the didactic training and that technical training, but have time for individual feedback in an in-person setting. So we're really trying to be mindful of the amount of in-person time that it's going to take for some of those training components. And again, more information will come out as we are, as we're developing and as we formally launch that pilot. Anything you want to add to that, Dr. Reese?
Nope, I think that's good too.
All right, last question. Nothing has been said about VA grants. Is there a reason why this source of funding, such as merit grants or training Spire awards, have not been mentioned?
I'll take that. I see that. I see that was from my friend John Sorkin. Hi, John. No, we did not. As I said, we want to grow. We want to expand the cadre of biomedical scientists. We didn't specifically say, DOD or defense, or we just want to grow the scientists. So our focus is really on growing the scientists. Now, admittedly, NIH grant, as you know, is our gold standard. That's kind of how rankings occur across the country. But VA grants are a very good source of funding. So we don't discourage other federal grants, whether it be VA or Department of Defense or Homeland Security or BARDA. We don't discourage that at all. But we clearly want to make sure that we are strong in our NIH funding, because that's how the schools are ranked. So if we suddenly stop focusing on NIH grants and our NIH grants go down, automatically the world thinks that we just fell off the cliff, because our ranking would fall down. So no, John, it is the expectation that as we train and teach and expand our research, education and training, all rising tide will lift all boats. We'll have scientists at all levels, grant funding at all levels, but NIH funding will be kept up because that's ranking. But others will also be present to kind of support the portfolio. That was very good. I really appreciated the questions, and Dr. Shriver was helpful in making sure that some of the technical details we handled very well. So appreciate the question very much, and I appreciate your attendance and your willingness to spend time with us. Can you close?
Absolutely. So thank you so much, everyone. We are going to follow up with the recording from today's session, as well as some helpful links for, again, where you can find us. If you have any questions, please don't hesitate to reach out directly. And we're excited to launch our new programs and to work with you and the faculty that you mentor or work with. So thank you so much, everyone.
Thank you. Have a good day.
Bye.